All right, I got an 05 Nissan Altima with a 2.5 engine, and by looking at it, you can see it hadn't been started in a while. And looking at the sticker here, 5 of 23, looks like it was inspected a couple years ago. Customer wants me to look it over, try to get it started, and bring it back to life. So let's get into it. Hello. Well, the alarm works. Whew. Well, it don't sound too bad, and it's charging. Look at my box, it's 14.1. I know the alternator's charging. So what we're gonna do first is go ahead and bring it around, let me blow all this crap off it, and we'll charge it up for an hour or so. All right. So just driving this thing in, I started hearing the brakes grinding. So I'm pretty sure it's going to have some kind of brake issue. But before I get into that, we're going to get this charger on it. Make sure when you're hooking the charger up, just pay attention what you're doing. Red goes to the positive side, black goes to the ground side. And definitely do one thing. If you just got a car and it's not your car and you're trying to look at reviving it, I have seen people dumbly take the positive side, like a red style cable, and hook it to a ground. And then you'll think, oh, well, that's the positive side. Well, it's really a ground. So just make sure that before you hook any cables up, look at your wires and make sure they're just in the right position, they're hooked up correctly, and they go to where they're supposed to be going. Like this one definitely goes to a ground. I've already looked it over. This one definitely goes to a positive. So just looking at it right off the get-go, is 4.7 volts is what's in that battery. So it's either toast or it needs to recharge, and we're going to start off by recharging now. Let's hit the power. And let's go with percent. We'll start at 10% and see if we can get it to 100. All right, so this thing's been charging for about 45 minutes, and in the middle of charging, my box came up with an error message. This battery's pretty much toast. Before I go any further, we need to go ahead and get a battery in this car, and then let me be able to take it for a test drive without breaking down. So let me call the customer and let's see what they want to do. All right, we just got the battery in. Let's go ahead and get it in. You know, talking to the customer, they definitely want to get it back on the road, they said. I told him, I said, overall, starting it up, it sounded pretty good. I think the biggest thing probably going to come up with is, I don't know, maybe like the brakes or something, but everything else looked pretty good. We'll go from there. Always disconnect the negative side first. If you watch my last video, you'll see why. I was in a rush and did the positive side. Oh my God. Thought I was going to light up Birmingham. All right, let's get this off. Get the shield off. All right, we're going back with a Super Start premium battery. Heck yeah. You know it's got to be badass with a name like Super Start. Almost. Chipotle, you know what I'm saying? You want to go on a diet, eat Chipotle. If you want a good cleansing, Chipotle's your name. Put your positive side on first. For the same reason, you don't want to be throwing no sparks nowhere. That's not very good. That's more like it. So taking this thing out on a test drive, the transmission is shifting fine. It's got good pep. The brakes feel fine. They feel nice and tall. I just heard a little bit of grinding on it. That's about it. But you know, it could be from just setting, not necessarily bad brakes. So far we're doing pretty good. Yeah, this ain't bad at all. All right, so this thing drives fine. I'm gonna get it back, I'm gonna get it up in the air, and let me finish running through this thing. And a little bit of luck, I guess, for the customer, all it needs is a battery. But they do want me to go through the brake system and check the suspension and make sure I don't see anything dangerous because it's been sitting so long. And I will check the charging system also, just to make sure it's up to date, just to make sure it's functioning correctly. So just off the quick glance, we have a Fred Flintstone car in our hands here. This is the driver's side floorboard. And this is the passenger side floorboard. That definitely won't pass state inspection. And looking at the cross member, I don't see any rust through. But moving on to the back, check this out. We need the muffler. Then I got to looking at the rear brakes. Rear brakes are what I heard grinding originally. And if you look right up in here, Look, backing plate is just rusted and gone. The calipers are all jacked up, rusted, got corrosion all over them. So we're definitely going to figure backing plates, calipers left and right, pads left and right, and looking at the rotors, they're pretty well ate up also. Let's see if I can get into a good view on that. They're definitely ate up. So after looking the car over, it's definitely a Fred Flintstone car. They probably didn't know that when they bought it, because if they did, they probably wouldn't have bought it. Everything else checked out fine other than the floorboard, the rear brakes, and the muffler. Let me let them know where they're at with this car. They may want to just junk the car after I price it to them, because fixing rust is not a cheap thing. It's an expensive thing. They may want to take that money and go buy something else, but I'm gonna leave that up to them. So at this moment here, I'm gonna write up the estimate, call the customer, and see what they want to do. Catch you in a bit. So after talking to the customer, they agree with me. The money they're going to sink in this thing is just not worth it. It's time to send it to the boneyard, because the money they were going to sink in this thing, they could go out and get a newer car with a lot less miles. All right guys, that's it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Catch you later.